Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And I'd love to start off with introductions, because many of you may not know one another. So as we, and I'll call your name because I know we're all in different orders on different screens. When I come to you, if you could just introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what's your practice, and your firm as well. Or if you are here as one of our investment committee members. So I'm going to start off with Bill Dallas. You want to kick us off?
Sure. I'm Bill Dallas. I'm a retired business owner. I'm on the board of CCF, a stakeholder or shareholder, an account holder in CCF, and I'm here on the investment committee.
Wonderful. Frank, why don't I go to you?
Well, good morning, everyone. Yeah, I'm Frank Howard. I'm on the board of Cobb Community Foundation, and I'm retired. Spent 39 years working for Genuine Parts Company and as their executive vice president and treasurer. That's pretty much it.
Thank you. Chris Gruen?
Yeah, Chris Gruen. I'm a commercial lender for Pinnacle Financial Partners and a board member for CCF, and on the leadership team for our advisor network.
Yes, so let me go to our leadership team now. Greg Morgan.
Good morning. How are you this morning? Greg Morgan. I'm a partner with Malden and Jenkins, and been in the Cobb community for many, many years, and look forward to continuing to work with this great network.
Thank you so much. Susan?
Hi, I'm Susan Tillery. I'm co-founder and president of Paraclete Financial. We are an integrated financial planning firm that does not do asset management or product sales. We just do the financial planning.
All right. And I believe I've covered our leadership team participation. Let's see, Chris.
Me again?
No, I'm sorry, other Chris, Bailey.
The other Chris,
Two
yeah.
Chris's, sorry about that.
So I'm Chris Bailey. I'm a partner with Nichols, Cawley and Associates, an accounting firm here in town. And Susan Tillery invited me, and I think I'm on the advisory networking team somehow. So I'm not quite sure what my title is yet, but I'm anxious to learn.
Shelley Elder.
Hi, I'm an attorney and I do estate planning and probate with a Crane Elder law firm.
All right, Tony.
Hey, it's Tony Turner. I know a lot of you. I'm a partner at Cohen Pollock Merlin Turner and on the advisory board, and I'm an estate planning attorney.
Wonderful. Tammy.
Hi, I'm Tammy Guelpho. I am a shareholder with HLB Gross Collins, along with Michael Bowling, and been working with Cobb Community Foundation a lot through Muff, so I'm excited to be a part of this.
Wonderful. With that, let's go to Michael.
Yes, good morning, everybody. Michael Bowling, a shareholder with HLB Gross Collins, a CPA firm, and I also know a few of you as well. So excited to be a part of the group.
Thank you. Rob?
Hi, I'm Rob Petmecki, and like Chris Bailey, my first time here, invited by Susan, and happy to be here and see what I can contribute. And just need to apologize in advance. I need to cut out around 10:25 for the 10:30 meeting. So thanks.
Well, glad you can be with us for 30 minutes. Elizabeth.
Sorry, Elizabeth Burdette. I am with Signature FD. We are a wealth management firm in Midtown. We do asset management and financial planning, and I lead our Signature Generosity team. So I'm essentially an in-house philanthropic advisor within the firm. So delighted to be here and be part of this group, and love CCF.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Melissa? Oh, you're on still.
I'm Melissa Gilbert. I'm a member with Gregory Duell, Calhoun and Rogers in the Trust Estates and Tax Group. I do estate planning and estate administration, and I was very grateful to be invited by Chris Gruen and David Fisher to be a part of this advisory network, and I'm very passionate about CCF and its causes, and excited to be a part of this team.
Thank you so much. Casey?
Yes, thank you. Casey Patrick, founded Patrick Financial Group, and we do comprehensive financial planning for families here in the area.
And we have another member of our leadership team for Professional Advisors Network, David. Oh, you're on mute still. There you go.
Sorry about that. Good morning, everybody. It's great to see all of y'all today. I'm also with Signature FD with Elizabeth. I'm a co-founder here, advisor, and I'm our Chief Wealth Officer, which is really overseeing the organization from the service delivery perspective. So longtime fan of CCF and Sharon and the whole team. So thanks for having me on today.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, I do not recognize the phone number, 404-791-6519.
Good morning. Yes, it's Michael Sudi. Yeah, I have a local CPA firm here in Kennesaw, Georgia. I was introduced to Cobb Community Foundation by David Fisher many years ago, and happy to be here.
Great. Thank you, Michael. And we thank everyone for being on. And thank you all for showing. We know, Michael, you're on your phone. That makes it a little difficult. But for everyone else, thank you for showing your bright, shining faces. It helps us a lot to know, particularly as we talk about what we're going to. So let me just start off by first thanking you for your time this morning, and then also thanking you for those of you who are on our leadership team for being a part of putting this together. And for those of you who have joined the network, we appreciate you as well. So when this all got started, we brought together under Chris's leadership, our leadership team. And although not everyone can be with us, I'm going to just show you who these folks are. And I'm going to share my screen a minute to do that. So these folks basically said to us, your network does not need to be about meetings. It does not need to be about presentation. What it needs to be about is about bringing together an elite group of advisors who are all committed to integrating charitable planning into their day-to-day business with their clients, and who are truly elite advisors. And so, as you can tell, we have a pretty elite group already who has led this, putting this effort together. But let me show you the other names. And I think you will agree that these folks all certainly fall in the elite category. That's why everyone has to be sponsored. Everyone has to be endorsed to participate in the Professional Advisor Network. But I hope you all know you are listed on our website with information, contact information for you. And so anyone who's interested in PAN, they would go here on our website and they would find the group that they would be participating with. So my hope is that you are meeting today, and then we're going to actually be having a kickoff event that is scheduled for Thursday, November 4th. More information coming on that. That will be a cocktail reception. It is a social focus because our whole goal is for you all to be able to get to know those of you that you don't already know, again, to help you build your businesses and make sure you know those who are really focused on charitable planning. So
Mary, may I interrupt just one moment? Can everyone see the screen? I just wanted to verify that. Okay.
Great.
Perfect.
Well, I'm going to stop sharing it. And did we have someone else join us? Oh, I did not introduce my staff, our staff. I'm so sorry. Barbara Garner is our donor services manager, and she is also on point for everything related to the Professional Advisor Network. So you all received a lot of information from her. She is also the person who works hand in hand with every one of our donor advised fund advisors. So you'll get to know her well. Brandon Brown is our operations manager. And for those of you who go down the path with us of becoming an investment partner in our investment partner program, you'll get to know him, or someone on your staff will get to know him very well also. So when we started down this path, one of the conversations we had And actually, we've had a number of conversations with many of you. I know, Casey, you've really helped to shape a lot of what we've put together here, and I thank you for that. But one of the things that was really clear is that as we try to build our base of fund holders at Cobb Community Foundation, one of the challenges is if you are an investment manager, we are actually asking you, when you refer a client to us, to take assets under management with you and put them as assets under management with us. And as one of our advisors told us, so you're asking me to take my client and have them move their investments to my competition. So, when you put it like that, so that was exactly what we were asking to do. But what we found is that investment managers, they want to work with us. They like what we do. They like us, and they think that their clients would want to work with us. And now, particularly that we've got the ACE Act out there looming, with the possibility that if you're not working with a qualified community foundation, that there's the possibility that if the donor, when they contribute their dollars, don't commit to distributing them all within 15 years, they won't get their deduction up front unless they're with a qualified community foundation. So that frankly just makes us all the more attractive. But at the same time, we don't want you feeling like we are asking your clients to move assets away from you. So we put something in place, and Frank Howard, I thank you and the rest of our investment committee for putting a shape in place that would allow us to make sure that we can work with investment advisors without them feeling like we are forcing them to make a move. So let me share my screen again, and I'm going to go to a description of our investment partner program. And I'm going to ask that you ask questions all along the way. And feel free to verbalize them. If you want to use the chat, that's fine. But we're starting this off with you. We have not officially rolled this out and gone to the general community because we feel like you are our friends in this, and we want to get your feedback and make sure that we have answered all of your questions so that when we roll this out broadly, we've got the benefit of your input. I'll also tell you that we have actually piloted this for about 1.5 years now. We piloted it with Hensler, and it has gone very well. So no one here would be a guinea pig. This is already up and running and formalized. So, okay. So right now, we currently hold all of our funds in investment pools, and Signature FD manages what we call our primary investment pools. And that really represents 4 accounts that are custodied at Fidelity that Signature FD manages. And what we are suggesting is that we create additional investment pools where we set up, Cobb Community Foundation sets up a fund, a pool, an account with your custodian that's in our name, because as you all know, any donor advised funds are actually owned by Cobb Community Foundation as well as all of our funds. So we set up an investment account that is in our name that is managed by you. And your clients for whom you hold donor advised funds would be able to have their funds in this account managed by you. Our role is to do what we do for all of our clients, which is administer their funds. But what we also do, as I said, we've got 4 investment accounts right now. Each of those holds the funds of numerous clients of ours. And our job is to do the fund accounting, where we basically say of this individual fund, this much is for this person's donor advised fund. This is for this client's donor advised fund, for this client's agency fund. So we then are the ones who take the pie and create the slivers, and then provide the services normally provided with a donor advised fund. For your client, that allows us to bring to the table what we do. And we use the acronym around here, SIMPLE, because we try to make it simple. But what SIMPLE is it allows their giving to be strategic. If you work with Barbara, what you will see, and those of you on the phone have already seen this, or that have funds with us have already seen this, is that her job is to understand what it is that a donor advised fund client really wants to accomplish. Are they looking to set their fund aside now so that they can give later, to involve their grandchildren, to create legacy? Are they interested in distributing as much now as they can? And if so, what are they focused on? So she helps them create strategy. We also inform their giving. We know what the issues are in Metro Atlanta. Well, our specific focus of is Cobb, and that is our greatest area of expertise that expands beyond just the Cobb area. And of course, clients who have funds with us can give to any 501c3 anywhere. It's just that our expertise is in Cobb. And for your clients who have a Cobb connection, we're going to be able to share with them information that they likely don't know, and introduce them to a number of organizations that they may have never heard of that are doing incredible work. We help them maximize their giving. The whole tool of a donor advised fund helps them to do that. And as many of you know, my personal background is in wealth management, estate and charitable planning. And so that was one of the things that attracted me to being with the community foundation. So we work with you to make sure they are maximizing their giving, frankly, through minimizing the taxes that would ordinarily apply. We help them to be purposeful. We help them to build their legacy. And most importantly, we make it easy. So what does it take to be an investment partner? We're frankly looking to work with those who are working primarily in a fiduciary capacity. We're not looking for transactional based investment management. So we want to work with RIAs. We want to work with those who are offering advisory services through RIAs. We want to work with those who have a client base that includes Cobb residents or those who have some kind of a tie to Cobb. We want to work with clients who have a minimum of 100 million in assets under management. And that's something that we worked very hard to make sure that we were being inclusive, but also making sure that we were working with those organizations that are stable and have been around a while. To that end, minimum 10 years in business, 15 years experience among the key leadership, and then an investment process that is consistent with our investment policy statement here at Cobb Community Foundation. And I'll show you where you can find that on our website. In terms of what it takes to get it started, what we don't want to do is open up a number of these accounts everywhere and not really have a base in them yet. So we're looking to get started with a minimum of $100,000 investment. That can be by one client, that could be 10 clients at $10,000 each. It's whatever works for you. But for you to basically have those clients identified and ready to go so that when we open a custody account and an investment management account with you under our name, we know and you know how it's going to get funded. We're looking for that account ultimately to be at least $250,000. And with many of you, we know that it could be a lot more. And we are looking for minimum DAF sizes of $10,000. Right now at Cobb Community Foundation, our minimum is 5, but we will be shifting that to 10 for new funds starting next year. So we thought we'd go ahead and put that in place here. Okay. What's the process? How do we make this happen? So we tried to break it down easily. It's assess, apply, define, and sign. So assess. Does this make sense for you as an investment manager or for the attorneys and CPAs and insurance folks on the phone? Are those that you work with that this makes sense for? Apply. So I will show you on our website in just a minute. There is a package already put together that is downloadable, fillable PDF where you provide the information that we need. And then once we receive that, there would be a meeting, a face-to-face or Zoom if need be, meeting with our investment committee, which is the process we go through for any investment manager who's managing our assets. And I suspect that you would want every one of your clients to be going through. Define. Here's where we get into the specifics. What will be the investment objective for this particular fund? Now, from your perspective, from the investment manager's perspective, we know that you'll have multiple clients in this fund. And so it is tricky to create that investment objective. And we've already been asked, well, what if you need to have 2 different investment objectives? We could do that. We could have 2 different pools, but they would need to eventually get to the total of $250,000 minimum each. We'll need an investment policy, for each of those funds. We'll also need performance benchmarks. We'll need to talk about what your investment fees are going to be for those particular funds. And those fees, by the way, would be deducted straight out of that account, just like they are for most of your funds now. And then it's signed. We've got a terms and conditions document, and then you're going to have documents that we need to sign, including custody. So that's really the process for getting that custody account, what I call the pie shell, in place. Then what is the process for your clients? What is it that they do to set up a donor advised fund with us? So again, identify, introduce, decide, and complete. So identify who are those clients that would make sense. We'd suggest that you start with those who already have a DAF. And folks have asked us, well, can you transfer a DAF? It's not really transferring, it's making a grant. Your clients who have a DAF would make a grant to Cobb Community Foundation. Cobb Community Foundation, they would have already signed all the paperwork, which is very simple, to set up their fund. And then they would make a grant to Cobb Community Foundation, designating the name of their fund, and they're done. You also probably have clients who have a foundation. I know in my old world, and Tony knows this client well, I had a client who was worth over $70 million, and she has set up a foundation, clearly had enough money in the foundation to warrant it, and she thought it was a pain in the rear. And so she ended up closing it down and putting it in a DAF. You may have some clients who set up a foundation a long time ago and realized it's more of a pain than they thought. We'd be delighted to work with them. Think about also 501c3 organizations that you may invest money for or have a relationship with. About probably 20% of our client base is agency funds, and they like working with us because it keeps them top of mind for us, but it also gives them an opportunity to help to expand their footprint and make themselves a little more well-known through our social media and PR, blog posts, etc. And then obviously just those clients who would benefit from a charitable plan. We would be delighted to work with all of you in that. Next step is introduce, not just to the client, but to the client's other advisors. Now, let me say, we know that you may have some clients who say, look, I just want to fill out the paperwork and make it happen. We still have some clients like that from before any of those of us who are currently on staff even joined. So we understand that's going to happen. Our preference is to meet the client. That's where we can provide the greatest value, obviously. Then it's determine which type of assets are going to make the most sense. Which type of fund? Is a donor advised fund really the right kind of fund? If your client is taking advantage of qualified charitable distributions, then that client can't put those dollars into an IRA, but they can put them into a designated fund or a field of interest or something else that might make sense, which could also be invested through your investment pool with Cobb Community Foundation. And then it's completing some very simple documents on whatever the transfer forms are, but you'd be coordinating, or at least the investment managers on this call would be coordinating that anyway. So that's the gist of the process. Let me talk through just a couple mechanics. Casey Patrick, thank you for making sure that we covered this as well. So if your client wants to make a contribution to their fund, how do they do that? Well, I would tell you in most cases, I think they'd probably be going through the investment manager who has the investment pool with us. Typically, if it's a large amount, they're going to have them transfer either assets or cash, and that can be handled directly at whatever custodian is currently in process. Secondly, if they decide that they want to mail a check, or if they want to ACH funds directly to us and not go directly through you, typically we would encourage them to go through you though, or they just want to do it via credit card, then those dollars will go directly into the investment pool with you. In terms of your being notified, we can set up those accounts, or at least we have with our current funds, such that the investment manager is notified when there is a deposit. Now, of course, you won't necessarily know whose fund that is. You'll just know that it's coming into your custody account for Cobb Community Foundation. And that's where I'll say, if it's a particularly large amount or something you've told us to be on the lookout for, we're going to give you a call. If it's just a small random contribution, probably not. That said, you will be receiving statements for the clients. You can always pick up the phone and say, who was that for? And that's something that we'll work through over time to make sure that it's comfortable for you as well as doable for us. Grants, and Barbara's going to show you our donor view tool in just a minute. Grants can be made directly online. If your client authorizes you, and we do have some of those situations now, and I'm speaking to the investment managers who would have an investment partner pool, or frankly, a CPA or an attorney. If you've got any clients who say, I just want to tell you and you make that happen for me, if you're comfortable with that and they designate it, you can do that. You can be the one who picks up the phone and calls us or emails us, as long as the client has authorized it. You can also go online, and again, if the client's authorized it, see exactly where they're at their investment stand within their fund at Cobb Community Foundation, and who's made a grant, what grant has been made, and you can also submit one yourself if authorized. Statements, we provide statements monthly, and on a quarterly basis, we actually ask our investment partners, and we'll show you a sample of one of these, to provide us an insert for those clients who are invested in their pool. And that is a mechanism to make sure that they are seeing the details for how that pool is invested, as well as their investment performance. So they're not getting just a generic investment document from us. They're getting something that you actually have provided. And we'll show you a sample of that in just a minute. Behind the scenes cash flow, how is all this moving? So when a contribution is made, and it's the same, so when a contribution is made that's not going directly from their current investment account to the new investment account with Cobb Community Foundation, if they make a contribution, it's actually going into a checking account that we have at Vinings Bank. And then we move that to that pool. And when I say pool, it's the same thing as a custody account with the individual investment manager. So when we receive cash, again, unless it's coming directly from their investment account and you're the one who is sending it there, it's coming from our checking account. When grants go out, it's going in just the opposite direction. There are not checks being cut and sent out directly from that investment pool. The way it works is that we actually will have calculated what are the grants coming up, and we will move money from that investment pool into our checking account. And from there, the checks get cut that are going out in grants. So how do you know if you need to raise cash or not? We'll call you. If we do ask that there be typically a 3% or so cash buffer in the account. But if there's a particularly large amount in grants that are coming up, we'll let you know. Likewise, if you happen to see that the cash balance is getting lower than you'd like it to be, we would like for you to call us, and then we'd want you to raise cash. Your fees would come right out of that account, and our fees likewise would, and just go into our checking account. So let me stop there and ask you, what questions do you have thus far?
Sherry, I have a couple of questions if you don't mind. So I was thinking operationally about what we've spoken about.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically what we're talking about here is the fact that to keep the account administration down, you would like us to have one account per objective. So if we had a growth objective, we could have 4 or 5 donors with a growth objective. We could have one that's balanced, with 5 or 6 households there. However, the performance is, we won't be able to calculate that at the individual level because it would be technically a commingled fund within one account. So I guess we would just be reporting performance of the fund since inception, not necessarily your performance per se, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. And that's how it is with all of our funds currently. And let me show you an actual statement.
And to clarify that CCF doesn't have the capacity or capability of generating their own performance reporting on these accounts, correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Correct. So what we provide to our clients on a quarterly basis. On a monthly basis, they just receive their statement. On a quarterly basis, that statement is also going to include a letter from me that's going to tell them about various things that are going on at the community foundation. But what it is also going to include is an insert or multiple inserts that come from their investment manager. And I'm going to pull that up. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Let me share this screen again. So this is what our statements look like. They are very, very high level. It's just, what did you start with? What came in? What went out? What is the change in your value of investments, both for the current period and year to date? And that is combining all of the individual pools they may be in. So Casey, if right now, as I told you, we have 4 investment pools that are for those clients who are not individually being managed or in an investment partner pool. And their statement will indicate what pool they are in. So this is an example for a client who has 100% of their assets in, which was our beta for the investment partner pool set up with Hensler Financial. So if, let's say that they had half in the Patrick Financial conservative fund and half in the Patrick Financial moderate fund, that would show 50-50 right here for each of those funds. And the information here is going to represent that information, those combined values. This particular client didn't have any contributions or distributions, but if they did, it would list everything you see right here. If it was stock that they transferred in, it would show the stock and the number of shares and the value on the data transferred. Likewise, if it's cash, it'll show that. The grants, it'll just show the name of the nonprofit institution and how much was distributed. This is a sample of what Hensler has provided with us. Now, out of courtesy to them, we took out all the specifics, but you would you know, the kind of thing that would be there. So if your client was invested in 2 or 3 pools of yours, we would have 2 or 3 of these inserts, and we have them now for our current clients who are invested in multiple pools, and it would have this information for each. So you are, and here's the sample letter that tells them all about what we do with links that actually work to different news articles, etc. So you are absolutely right. They are not getting the combined performance. They are getting the performance for each individual fund.
Very good. And that's pretty similar to, you know, the corporate versions of these that we've worked with before. Another quick follow-up question. I don't want to take up everybody's time, but will we receive a consolidated statement showing our donors' allocation to each of our pools? So as an example, to ensure that, let's say we have a $300,000 pool and $100,000 belongs to Joe Smith, you know, based on your accounting, because you're tracking that, correct?
Yes.
Will we, as the financial manager and planner, be receiving a consolidated statement of who owns what percentage of each account? Mainly because we need to make sure we're assigning that within their financial plan to their long-term charitable goals. I think that would be very important for us to have that.
So that is something we can do. That's not something that we have done before, but our system has the ability to generate that report, and absolutely we could do that.
Very good. Yeah, that's how, when we work with commingled retirement plans, profit sharing plans, where we're managing one pooled account, we get at least once a year, we get an accounting of what percentage belongs to each participant there. And that would be helpful for you guys if we could.
We absolutely can do that.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, I also wanted to show you all where you can find information about this program, and then where you can find, if you're sitting down with a client, and this is for everyone, not just the investment managers. I know, oh, Megan, good to see you. Megan Flores is also on our leadership team and is also with Gregory Doyle. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Sorry, I'm late. I'm Megan Flores. I'm a member at Gregory Doyle along with Melissa. And Melissa and I work in the same practice group together. So you probably heard about the firm through her, but our practices are similar, but mine is more heavily geared towards tax advice, business or estate related, shared related.
Thank you. Thank you. So again, let me share my screen and show you where you can find this information on our website. Okay, so this page and where I am is under Advisors, Investment Partner Program. And that just gives an overview. This is much of what we've talked about. The Investment Partner Program package, that is going to include, and let me just bring that up. That is going to include the details of the program. It's going to recap what the partner process is that we just reviewed, the fund advisor process, meaning how to set up a fund. And then this is what we call your participation request for the investment manager. So this is the process, the questions that you would be asked to provide answers to get accepted as a investment partner in the investment partner program. And then the step after this, of course, is meeting with our investment committee. So I mentioned that your process needs to align with our investment policy, and our investment policy is attached there as an appendix, as well as the terms and conditions that we also want to make sure we're all on the same page with. Nothing that you will see in here is going to be outside of the ordinary. All of this was actually reviewed, not just by Hensler, who agreed to it all, but also David Fisher. Thank you for your input into this Signature FD from the investment manager's perspective. So we also have an advisor's toolkit. And again, this is under advisors and toolkit. And here we have basically every single marketing piece that, not the full brochures, but all what we call the one-pagers, just high-level information about Cobb Community Foundation, an overview of a giving fund, a donor-advised fund, just some tips for year-end giving, our gift acceptance policy. So if your client is interested in giving real estate or closely held business interests, we can accept those, but we want you to see what our gift acceptance policy is. The fund investment options, those are the ones that are currently managed by Signature FD, but also the partner overview, the whole partner package. And then here you can actually pull up and print out the donor advised fund agreement or other fund types. And in this agreement, and you'll see it's very, very straightforward and simple. It's fill in the blank, and you only fill in the blanks that apply. But when it comes to the fund investment options and selections, the way they would fill out this particular blank for the investment partner pool is Patrick Financial Group Conservative Fund, whatever the name of that is. If it is going to be 50-50, and if we see that we're going to have multiple pools for our clients, we're going to add some additional lines here. We just started off with one, but obviously we control the form. So very simple. You can download it, you can fill it out, you can send it to us. We don't want you to have to wait on us. All right, does that prompt any questions? Okay, Barbara, do you want to show them Donor View? This is a tool, by the way, that is available for all of our clients. But we in particular want to make sure that one, you see what it is that your clients will see, but then secondly, that for those of you who are investment managers, that you're seeing what you would also have immediate access to if your client authorizes it. All right, Barbara.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sherry, and thank each and every one of you guys for being here and for being in our professional advisor network. We appreciate you, we appreciate your time, and we really, really want your feedback on everything that's been presented today. So this is the website that Sherry's been going to, and this is exactly how you and your clients would access Donor View, just clicking on this little orange button in the upper right-hand corner. Of course, we would have already communicated their username and password. All right. Okay. So
isn't that a beautiful picture, everyone?
Really, I got to get a new picture, or at least minimize that one. Anyhow, okay, so you will originally be logged into the donor dashboard, and as you all know, that's just going to be an overview of the fund. If you are managing multiple accounts, multiple funds, then you can just click on this little icon right here, and all of your funds will be visible there. You'll see the fund balance, you'll see the field of interest of the grants that have already been issued, and you will see recent grant history here. And let me just get that over. Okay, and your menu's on the right-hand side there. I'm going to click next on activity and holdings. Okay. So again, this was our beta fund, and as Sherry's already mentioned, they are 100% invested in the Hensler Financial Investment Partner Pool. And this is going to be their fund activity summary for the past 30 days. So you can see beginning balance, basically everything that you just saw on that statement that Sherry pulled up. All right. Contribution history, I think for this fund, we're not going to have anything for the past 30 days. But if there were activity, you would see all of that displayed here, which can be super helpful. It also shows you the status. So you would see it's in entered status, it's in posted status. And this can be helpful if someone has passed away and in lieu of flowers, they wanted all those contributions to go to this fund. You can, at the bottom here, export to Excel for mail merge. So we are obviously sending acknowledgements for tax purposes, but sometimes folks want to send an additional thank you on their own, and that can easily be done from here, or they can simply pick up the phone or email us, and we're happy to get that report to them. All right. And again, as Sherry has already mentioned, they can easily recommend a grant here. And I just want to say that can happen online. We have some, I'm not going to say old, but old school fund holders who still fax us forms. And we are happy to have them do that online. We accept faxes, we accept emails, and they can call us. We know most of their voices. Of course, we follow up with an email for documentation purposes, but we just want to work with all of our clients in the way that is most comfortable for them. If they are an online person and they want to do that online, they can easily do it here. I am just going to show you quickly. I'm going to put in Cornerstone. Maybe that's all they know, and I'll just submit that name. So these are two different organizations that have Cornerstone in the name that we as an organization, CCF, have already granted to. And let's say that Cornerstone Prep is the one that I would like to make a grant to. I just click new grant, fill out the amount, when I would like that to go out, would I like that to be a recurring grant, and click submit. It sends a quick little email to your client, and then we take it from there. All right, grant history. This will basically be that pie chart that we saw on our donor dashboard. And I'm just going to click on education here so you can see, and obviously you can break that out by the pie. This fund holder has made 2 different grants this year to KSU Foundation, and it shows you the status. They are posted, when they were issued. One hasn't cleared yet because that was recent. And then statements. And I don't want you to have to take a look at that again, but if I'm clicking statements, it will show the monthly statement for this fund holder, and that's exactly what Sherry has already pulled up for you. So any questions there? Anything that you're looking for that you didn't see?
For everyone on the call, we want you to be comfortable with what we're going to make available to your clients and the way that we're going to work with them. I was in your shoes. I think, Barbara, we can probably stop sharing. Thank you. I was in your shoes, and I know what it's like to bring in an organization or a person that you've never worked with before. I know you're putting your credibility on the line with that. And we thank you for the trust that you place in us. Know that we take that very seriously, and know that there are folks on this call who have funds with us and have worked with us and have referred their clients to us. And if you would like for us to make sure that you have an opportunity to talk with those folks or with the current fund holder, just to see if what we say about how we operate is really how we operate, we would be delighted to do that. But we do know that there is always that bit of trepidation before you introduce that first client. And I just want to say thank you for giving us that opportunity. All right. Any questions, any comments? Well, that was easy. Anything you would suggest to us when we actually roll this out to a broader group? Our plan is not to do a full Zoom call or any kind of webinar on this. Our plan is actually to take the information that you have, particularly Casey, their questions that you asked, incorporate it into a presentation, and actually do a video that we will distribute via LinkedIn, our blog, email to financial advisors to make them aware of this, that hopefully would prompt them to ask questions. But importantly, we want those of you on this call who are not investment managers to know that this is available, because I know you don't want to be in a situation where an investment advisor has recommended you, Tammy, to be their client CPA. You recommend that that client set up a fund with Cobb Community Foundation, and some of those assets that are with that investment advisor who referred that client to you then end up coming to CCF and come out of their assets under management. In some cases that may be fine, but in other cases it won't be. So we want you all to know that for a client to set up a fund with Cobb Community Foundation, it's not always going to be that that client is having to take assets away from their investment manager to do that. So, well, we are happy. Yes.
Will the presentation you did, will that be available for everybody?
We will.
You went through a lot, and
yes,
I think folks will need some time to absorb,
to digest. Absolutely. Why don't we email it to everyone who is on this call? So you'll have a copy of it, and we can also attach the documents that are accessible via the website. They'll just put it all in one place for you.
That'd be great.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. We're happy to add back 9 minutes to your day. And we hope you have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend. And thank you again for the role that you are playing to help us help our community. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sherry.
Bye.